Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Chapter 9 of the Lahti file. Chapter 9 is called Answers for Munro. So as we remember from last week, he just met Pentti Virolainen's sister, Sherpa Virolainen, and they are in her flat in a small apartment complex in Helsinki, or on the outside of outskirts of Helsinki. And she's just about to tell him what her brother told her. So here we go, Chapter 9. Sherpa Virolainen looked past Munro through the window behind him, getting her thoughts together. "You have to understand something about Pentti, you know," she began. "He was bright. I mean, he didn't have a great job. He didn't go to university or anything like that, but he was intelligent. He did well at school, but he just didn't want to go on studying for the rest of his life." Munro sat quietly watching her, saying nothing. "Anyway," she continued, "he left school at 18 and got a job with a company called Bioratkaisut, which had just started." Bioratkaisut? Munro couldn't stop himself speaking. Bioratkaisut? Munro couldn't stop himself speaking. "Yes, do you know it?" asked Virolainen. "I met someone last night who said she worked there." "What's her name?" asked Virolainen. Munro told her, but Virolainen shook her head. "I haven't heard of her," she said, "but that doesn't mean she doesn't work there. Pentti and I weren't very close. I mean, we lived in the same town, but we didn't see each other very often, and we never talked about his work, really. Except for the other night." "Okay," said Munro. "Anyway, you were saying." "Yes, he had a job at Bioratkaisut. He was a laboratory assistant. He helped the scientists with their work. Usually, he just organized their equipment, but sometimes he actually helped them with their work." She stopped for a moment and drank some of her coffee. "This woman you met, did she tell you what Bioratkaisut does?" asked Virolainen suddenly. "Not really," replied Munro. "Something biological?" "Yes, that's right," said Virolainen. "The company is well known in Finland for its soap and things like that. It also produces a famous cream for keeping mosquitoes away." Munro smiled. The mosquitoes could be terrible in the north. Well, Pentti began to realize that there was other scientific work going on at Bioratkaisut, which was, how can I say, not in the public interest? "I see," said Munro. "What sort of work? How did he find out about it?" "When he was helping in the laboratory, he could usually understand what the scientists were doing and why. But he realized there were some special areas of work that he was never allowed to help with. At first, he thought it was just chance. Then one day, one of the scientists left some papers in the laboratory by mistake, and Pentti looked at them." Virolainen was speaking more quickly now, and her eyes were bright. "It was work to develop a special kind of poison gas." Munro put his coffee on the table. "Go on," he said. Virolainen went on. "Well, Pentti then kept his eyes and ears open. He thought there were probably only 2 or 3 scientists in the company doing this kind of work. They were certainly developing different types of poison gas, but he thought they were working on other poisons as well." "And nobody else knew about it," said Munro. "No, nobody," said Virolainen, "and Pentti didn't know who to tell. He didn't think the police would do anything. It would be his word against the word of scientists working for one of the most famous companies in Finland. Then, a couple of months ago in Lahti, there was a big meeting of biologists from all over the world. By chance, Penty met a British biologist in a bar one evening and, well, he didn't tell him everything, but he must have told him enough. Last week, someone from London phoned him and asked him to meet you. Veralainen stood up and went into the kitchen. She opened a cupboard and took out a box of breakfast cereal. She opened the box, put her hand inside and took out a piece of paper. She put the box back, shut the cupboard door, and turned to Munro. "He also gave me this," she said, passing Munro the piece of paper. Munro opened the paper and looked at it. Munro was not a scientist, so he had no idea what the writing on the paper meant. However, it was clearly scientific and probably biological. "You said that Penty thought something might happen to him," said Munro. "Yes, he thought someone was following him." Munro knew the feeling. He looked at the piece of paper again. "I'd like to keep this," he said, "and take it back to London." "Okay," said Sherpa. Munro put the paper carefully in an inside pocket of his blue jacket. "There is a phone box up the street," he said. "I'm just going out to make a call, and then we'll decide what to do about you. You can't stay here." Munro saw that Veralainen looked less worried than when she had arrived. Some colour had come back into her cheeks. For the first time, Munro realized how pretty Sherpa Veralainen was. Munro got through to Naila quickly and explained what Veralainen had told him. "I've got the paper that Penty Veralainen left with his sister," he said. "Good work," said Naila. "I want you to fax a copy to me here as soon as possible." "Okay," said Munro, "but I need to get Veralainen's sister somewhere safe first." "Right," said Naila. "I'll take her to Helsinki. It'll take about 90 minutes, said Munro. "Okay," said Naila. "Make sure she's safe. Fax me the paper, and then call. I've got a lot of information for you, and I'll have new orders." The line went dead. One of the things Munro liked about working for Naila was that he never asked unnecessary questions. If Munro said that Veralainen was not safe, Naila believed him. If Munro felt Helsinki was the best place to take her, that was fine with Naila. Naila had information to give Munro, but he would wait until Munro was clear. Back in the flat, Munro explained to Sherpa Veralainen that someone might have followed her brother to the flat. It was not a safe place anymore. He was going to take her to Helsinki, because it was easier to hide in the capital. 10 minutes later, they were driving south on the road to Helsinki. 5 minutes after that, Munro looked in the mirror. 2 large jeeps were driving up fast behind him, and he knew that he was in trouble again. Oh, finally, we have some information on what's actually happening in Lahti and what Munro is investigating. A lot of useful information from Penty's sister. He's found himself in another pickle. 2 jeeps. He's going to have to try to lose them before he can be clear in Helsinki. All right. I look forward to discussing this with you in class, and next week we'll move on with chapter 10. Stay safe, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.